Are you struggling to find the research topic for your new research paper or for your dissertation? Or maybe you found one, but you're not sure whether this is the right topic to increase your chances of successfully completing your PhD or having your paper published in a really good journal? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you 3 crazy simple steps, but incredibly effective steps that will ensure that you've chosen the right research topic. So let's dive right in. Now, we're going to go through all these 3 steps in order, and I'm going to show you how to apply them even if you at the moment have 0 idea of what your research topic is. And they're also going to work for you if you've already chosen a research topic or you've got a fairly good idea of what you want to focus on, but you need to really narrow down your focus. And you definitely want to stick around until the end of the video, because actually step number 3, tip number 3 is the most important one. This doesn't mean that you should skip step number 1 and 2. Please don't fast forward the video. But step 3 is definitely the most important one if you want to get your paper or your thesis into a really high level, get it published in really good journals. Now, if you're new here, my name is Marek Kiczkowiak and I run Academic English Now, where I help PhD students and researchers regularly publish papers in top journals. So with that said, let's dive right in and let's see how to choose a really good topic in just 3 crazy simple steps. So there are 3 simple components of a high impact topic that can get you to really good journals. And I'm going to break down each of them for you right now. And then at the end, I'm also going to give you an additional 4th really important component that is very often overlooked, that you really need to take into account if you want to publish 3 or more papers every year. So definitely stick around until this video, because after the 3 main components of the high impact topic, there's going to be a 4th one that's also really, really important if you want to publish several papers in good journals every single year. So basically, a high impact topic consists of these 3 elements. There's the research gap, and this is the fundamental one. This is the basic one, but even though it's a basic one, a lot of people get it wrong or they're not sure how to actually find it. But this is the fundamental one. And, you've got to get this one right to have any sort of good research topic. Without it, you don't have any topic. But the problem is that, most researchers, that's where all researchers start, and usually that's where 90% of researchers finish as well. And so therefore, if you want to be ahead of the game and if you want to stick out from the crowd and make a difference, then you also want to look at the additional 2 elements, which I'm also going to break down for you. And this is insights from other disciplines and professional and personal experience. Right? By the way, if you're wondering where do these materials come from, how can I get access to this PowerPoint presentation? These materials come from my paid program, Research Paper Mastery. If you're interested in joining it, you want to take a look at these materials as well, then definitely schedule a free one-to-one consultation. We're going to get on a one-to-one call, see what your challenges are, and see if Research Paper Mastery might be a good fit for you. With that said, let's briefly take a look at the first aspect. So that's the research gap, and let's see what it's all about. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail in here, right? I do that much more on my program, Research Paper Mastery, but also in other videos on this channel. So if you're interested in more details about the research gap, click there. But basically, the research gap is your why. It's the academic justification for why your topic is novel and why it should be published in a good journal, right? And there are 4 types of the research gap. There's lack or insufficient research, meaning not enough studies have been conducted. Number 2, there might be some sort of controversy in your field or some sort of lack of understanding, lack of consensus on a particular issue. Number 3, there can be limitations of previous research. And number 4, specific practical problems in your discipline that need resolving, right? And this is where your study comes in and tries to solve one of these research gaps. But ideally, what you want to do is you want to combine more than one research gap to further strengthen the novelty of your topic. Now, you might be wondering, how do I find this research gap? And the answer is very simple. You just read the literature and notice, these patterns about these 4 things, right? But obviously you've got to be taking effective notes, you know, on the literature. And I can show you like real quick what you want to do in here when you're reading the literature, right? So basically, you know, let's say you're focusing on limitations of previous studies. You want to have a simple table like this. You know, you could do it in Word, you could do it in Excel, right? And then, you know, you write the limitation of previous studies, let's say small sample size. You look at the example studies in here, right? And you want to give a specific example, like why this sample was sized. Let's say it had 10 participants, right? And, you know, and you want to refer to the study as well, right? And then, you know, you want to make a suggestion what should be done instead, right? Because obviously your study or your research topic aims to solve this limitation, right? So it makes sense for each limitation to just make a suggestion as well, meaning what you're going to do. And you want to do this for each type of the research gap, right? Now, moving on from the research gap to the second element, right? And that's insights from other fields. So I think, you know, very often what happens is that, you know, many of us, many researchers, PhD students, and I'm guilty of that myself, you know, we just focus on an increasingly narrow area and we end up knowing everything about nothing, right? But the result is that we can't really see beyond, you know, the confines of our very narrow specialism, which of course is a problem because you're kind of like locked in this box, you know, around your head, and you're not able to see what's going on outside of that box. So you're going to be working on the topics that everybody else in your field is working. You're just going to be following the crowd. And as a result, you might miss out on some like really cool topics, research gaps, you know, that could take you really far in your field, but you're going to be missing out on them because you're just like focused on what everybody else is focused and you're following the crowd, right? So you want to think outside of the box, right? And you want to try to see what's going on in other fields and try to combine that knowledge and use it to find new topics in your own field, right? And I want to give you an example of that. I don't want to butcher this person's name, right? So I'm not going to try to pronounce it, but she is a Chinese pharmaceutical chemist, right? And she discovered this thing called artemisinin, right? And, you know, this drug has been used to treat 200 million patients with malaria. Think about it. 200 million patients received this drug thanks to this Chinese pharmaceutical chemist. But the cool thing is that, like, do you know how she discovered it? Well, it was because she studied history of traditional Chinese medicine, right? If you think about it, it's just crazy, right? She's a pharmaceutical chemist, but she also studied history of traditional Chinese medicine. If she hadn't, she might have never discovered it, and then 200 million people would not have received this amazing new drug for malaria, right? So that's what I'm saying, you know, that's why you don't want to be locked in this box. You want to get out of this box, open your mind to like other fields, what's going on there, and try to find topics that combine insights from other fields, right? Now, how do you do that? Well, I think, of course, you can read journal papers from other disciplines, but you might be thinking, well, I don't really have time to do that. So, you know, you can also listen to podcasts. There's lots of cool podcasts, you know, that give scientific insights from other disciplines, but are, you know, obviously pleasant to listen to, engaging, motivating, and so on. There's lots of books. I love reading scientific books, popular science books from different disciplines, and some of, you know, the best insights that I had into new topics in my field have been from reading books on other subjects, right? Of course, there are YouTube videos from, you know, scientists, you know, universities, and you can gain lots of insights into other fields like that as well. So that's the second really important element. Now, the third one is personal and professional experience. So I think there is this idea that, like, you know, the more academic experience and only academic experience, the better. But really, you know, as I've already explained here, you know, especially if you if you're not interested in other fields, like you're just going to be continuously learning about one small field, and you're going to, become detached from what's actually going on outside of the academia. And some of the best topics as well that I've had in my discipline, and some of the best papers with most citations that I've written, they have come from practical insights, right? From either working in the field myself or listening to the problems that practitioners in my field actually have. Because, most researchers don't interact with practitioners. They're locked in the ivory towers in universities, and that's that, and the practitioners just kind of work in a different universe, and these two groups don't interact, which obviously creates a problem, right? Because sometimes researchers are just working on one thing, whereas the practitioners, they're interested in other problems, and they have other problems, right? So you want to try to use either your own personal or professional experience, or, just talk to professionals outside of academia that are working in the field to see what they struggle with. And you will be surprised how many insights you can actually gain like this. It's amazing. So these are the three main things that constitute a high impact topic. So to recap, it's the research gap, it's insights from other disciplines, and it's professional and personal experience. And you want to, where these three intersect, right here in the middle, that's where high impact research topics hang out, live, and go for coffees together, or whatever high impact topics do in the free time, right? So of course you can have a good topic just with one of those elements, but if you want to have something truly, groundbreaking, then you want to combine all three things, right? That's where those really high impact topics intersect. Now, I promise you, I'll give you the fourth element as well that is very often overlooked, and that's research topic feasibility, right? So if you want to publish several papers in good journals, you've got to pay you've got to pay attention to how feasible your topic actually is. Now, what do I mean by that, right? You might find an amazing topic, but what's going to turn out is it's almost impossible, to investigate it. And this can be, because of different reasons, right? It can be because you lack the skills. And of course, you can gain the skills in order to investigate this topic, but gaining those skills might take a very, very long time. Number two, you might lack the equipment to investigate this particular topic. And of course, you can find this equipment. If you're part of a university, maybe you can even buy it for your lab. But again, that's going to take a really long time as well, right? You might also lack knowledge on this particular topic, right? Of course, you can gain this knowledge by reading other academic papers, but again, this is going to take a very long time, right? You might lack the financial resources or any other resources or materials, that are needed to solve this topic problem, right? So what I mean with this is that, you've got to have a balance between an amazing topic and a topic that is feasible, right? Because otherwise, if you choose an amazing topic that is, not very feasible, then you're going to end up, studying this topic for 2 years and maybe publish one paper on it, And granted, that paper can be amazing, right? But then if you choose a really good topic, let's say 8 out of 10, maybe not 10 out of 10, but you choose a good topic, 8 out of 10, and it's very feasible. So on a scale of feasibility from 1 to 10, where 1 being impossible, 10 very feasible, you choose something that's also a 7 or an 8. Well, what's going to happen is that, you're going to have a really good topic that you will be able to research relatively quickly. And then in the next year, you can easily publish 3 papers or more, or 5 papers, right? So that's the balance that you're going to have. And this fourth element is really key to publishing in high impact journals regularly. If you've enjoyed this video and you want more personalized help publishing your research papers in really good Scopus Index journals, then schedule a free one-to-one consultation where we're going to go over your main challenges, pinpoint your goals, and then outline a personalized plan that will help you to achieve those goals faster and with greater ease. And the link to schedule that free call is right below this video.